Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Testimony and Transparency. For those of you who are new here, this is an extension of my small business, Naturally Created for You. And through my small business, I send out these weekly morning inspo emails to where I talk about a variety of topics. I started this back in 2023, and it's been over a little bit of everything from entrepreneurship to homeschooling to marriage to motherhood, just different seasons of life that have been challenging for me that I've talked about and just shared what I've learned. So today I'm going to read you guys a recent email that I sent out. This was on June 3rd that it went out. And this is important to know because if you listen to the previous episodes, these are from a few years ago, from early on when I first started sending out these emails. And so this is very recent. But I felt it was necessary to share it with you guys. And I hope it encourages you. So I'm going to go ahead and read the email and then I'm going to share a few thoughts about it. So it says, "Good morning. On May 21st, I woke up hot, not physically hot, hot with an attitude. Somebody was going to hear about it. I was mad at the staff at the hospital. The nurses misunderstood my words and relayed a message that was not what I communicated. The doctor listened to the nurses without consulting me first. I was already so overwhelmed. I had enough. Lots of thoughts went through my mind that morning. I knew I was falling into a trap of complaining and seeking revenge instead of trusting the Lord. I reached out to a friend group to pray for my future conversation with the doctor. I sat at the kitchen table feeling so discouraged. When would things turn around? When would there be better news? When would this end? Feeling desperate for relief, I asked God, haven't I been through enough? And I immediately heard a soft voice in my head, you haven't been to the cross. Everything stopped. He hushed me right up, and I sat there in awe once again. I felt his gentleness and mercy, and I was able to extend them to the doctor during our conversation. After getting off the phone with the doctor, I felt peace and relief. I was honestly surprised because I woke up ready for a verbal battle. I will never forget those words, you haven't been to the cross. I'm so thankful for a God who steps into the details, who gently corrects and guides, and who comforts me when I'm a hot mess. May was a month of chaos. It broke me and strengthened me in a way that I can't fully articulate yet. I just want to remind you once again God is good, He is faithful, and we can rest knowing He is a mighty God. Okay, so that was the end of the email. I want to go through and just touch on a few things that I read about just to give you guys some more context. So when I woke up that morning, I was so angry. I was so angry. I had prejudged the doctor and I was like, she does not care. She's in it for the money. She is not concerned with our family. Like, I'm going to get her because this situation that has happened is wrong. And I was ready. I was ready and I was angry and I reached out to my friend group who is my Bible study group here in my neighborhood. And I reached out to them and was like, hey, can y'all pray for this conversation that I'm about to have? Because I was concerned about myself. I'm like, I am so mad. If this doctor calls me right now, I am not going to be able to represent Christ well. And that bothered me. And it should bother you too. That if you're in a space to where you cannot represent Christ well, y'all, we've got to recognize that. We got to be able to deal with that. And I'm just like, Lord, help me because I don't want to misrepresent him. And so as soon as I got on the phone with that doctor, I felt immediate calmness. I knew that she was being honest with me. She was very transparent, very realistic. And she answered all of my questions professionally. And I just really appreciated her helping us. And so by the end of the conversation, I just felt peace. And I know that peace only comes from the Lord because if I could write down all the thoughts that went through my head just a few hours previously, like, y'all, it don't make sense. So the Lord was able to give me a calmness, and he was able to help me speak to the doctor with love. We had a great conversation. I wasn't trying to attack her like I had planned to, and I just thank God for that, because that conversation could have went a whole different way, but it didn't. And that's only by the grace of God, that he was able to help me with that. Because here's the thing, me on my own, y'all, I'm a terrible person. The thoughts that run through my head, even if I don't act upon all of them, they're not right. And so I have to continue to go back to God and surrender those thoughts and be like, Lord, help me to love others better. Help me to be more kind. Because if you really do some self-examination, I know it's easy to examine everybody else and what they have going on, but if you really do some self-reflection in your mind and what's coming out of your heart, y'all, it's not good. It's not good when we get upset. I'm not talking about everything's going perfect. I'm talking about when things go left and you get upset. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is when I asked God, haven't I been through enough? And his response to me was, you haven't been to the cross. Y'all, that hushed me up so fast. I didn't even have any more words. I was like, you know what, Lord? I don't have anything else. When he said that back to me, I was speechless. I was like, wow, here I am, always got something to complain about when things are not going right. I'm always trying to get out of things. And this is something that the Lord still has to work with me on is I don't like being in the middle of pain, discomfort, chaos. I want to get out as quickly as possible. And the Lord, he tends to keep me in situations to teach me, because it's in those situations that he teaches me things, and I grow in my faith, and I just get stronger and stronger in him. And so it's like, here I was once again, like, Lord, haven't I been through enough? Like, I'm I'm sick of this. Like, it's always something. And he was like, you haven't been to the cross. He has made the ultimate sacrifice. And we can just be such big complainers about our suffering. And I'm not trying to diminish anyone's suffering. Uh, but sometimes the Lord has us in situations, and a lot of times people will blame every terrible thing on the devil when sometimes it's not the devil. Sometimes this is for your discipline, and sometimes this is just what you are going to go through to refine you, to build you, to produce something in your character, to increase your faith. And I'm telling you, every single step of this process has just increased my faith more and more. And I hate that I had to go through all this, but praise Jesus that I did go through it, and that he has refined me, and he has increased my faith. My faith cannot be shaken. It truly cannot. And I have seen his goodness time and time again. And I think, what this has taught me is in the middle of suffering, in the middle of um things that you're just sick of being there. You have not made the ultimate sacrifice. I'm not trying to diminish what we go through. I'm just trying to say, when you look at the bigger picture, it is not the ultimate sacrifice. And the other thing we have to keep in mind, that I think we can lose sight of, is we live in a temporary state. Like, we can think this is our eternity, and we can operate like this is all there is, instead of realizing the hope that we have. If you are a believer, your hope is not in this world. Your hope is in Christ. And you know that once this world is over, once you are passed away, or Jesus comes back first, um, that is where our hope truly is. It's not in what this world offers us. Um, and then the other thing I want to say, um, well, 2 more things I want to say. So, the gentleness and mercy that God showed me is what I was able to offer the doctor. And I think we really need to realize how merciful God is towards us, how loving he is, his grace, his kindness, his long suffering for us. All these things, it's like we have no problem receiving from God, but it can be really challenging to extend those things to others. And so that is also something that I took away is the same things that I'm receiving from God, those things should flow out of me into other people. And if they are not, take that to the Lord in prayer and say, Lord, these things that I'm receiving from you is so hard for me to give to others. Help me. And He will. Those are the prayers that we should be praying. I'm not saying don't pray for the Lord to do things in your life. Like if you got a job and you want a better job, sure, bring that before the Lord. If something's going on, a sickness or financial stress, and maybe you want to take a vacation and you're trying to get all that worked out. You pray for traveling grace, pray that things go smoothly. I'm not saying we can't pray for those things, but I am saying we should be praying more that the Lord make us more like him than w- all this stuff that we can get. And then the last thing I want to say, which is really an apology, I want to apologize to you that I started this podcast and then I just abruptly stopped releasing the episodes. And that was never my intention. When I started this, I was very excited and I was not just excited to share the messages, but I was also excited because I believed this was something I could be consistent with. And so I was excited for that. I was like, this is something that I could actually do weekly and it wouldn't get paused. But it did. It did. And I want to apologize because that wasn't my intention. However, we experienced a family crisis and I was not able to come on here and share anything with anyone. I stopped posting on my TikTok channel. The only thing I was really doing was um, running my business and I was uploading content there. But like everything else really came to a halt because I just didn't have anything to give. I really spent the entire month of May just doing what I needed to do. Um, I rested and I studied my Bible. I was in prayer. I was just trying to get through the days. Um, because the days were very sad. And so I was really just trying to get through. But I do believe that this is something that I can continue on weekly now that things have kind of settled a little bit. And I believe I do have something to share. That can hopefully encourage you and just point you back to Christ. All these messages that I share, the things that I'm learning, I pray that it points you back to Christ because He is truly how we're going to manage all of this. If you go through life and you're always the one trying to figure it out and have enough wisdom, have enough resources, you're going to struggle even more. So I truly pray that this encourages you and just points you back to Christ because he is the only answer, okay? Yes, he has given us many resources and tools and whatnot, but if we are not seeking him first and putting our full trust in him, we are missing it. So I pray this blesses you. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all later. Bye. Oh, one more thing. If you are interested in getting the morning inspo email, I will link that in the description. You can sign up to that. That email goes out every single Wednesday, so you can get those. And so, yeah, one more thing. If you guys are not subscribed to the podcast, please subscribe. Please share it with somebody else. All right, that's it. I love y'all. Bye.